So my name is Richard Pietro, and when I joined Skinopathy, I was warned that, wow, holy moly, you guys move fast. Okay, images, warn, go. So this is skin cancer, and it's pretty gross. But, and it's actually kind of jarring, and you'd be surprised, actually, at how many people don't actually do anything about it. So we actually have a saying that people won't see a doctor about their skin problem until the burden of seeing the doctor is actually less than the burden of tolerating the skin condition. Now, there's an old adage that says an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we created the AI equivalent of that through our patent-pending AI that allows people to do skin cancer screenings right on their phone. Now, I can't tell you our secret sauce, but I can tell you that it's built using convolutional and transformer architectures, and it's geared for skin abnormalities, and also has a novel saliency map. And our data is interoperable, and it's anonymized with patient consent attached to it. So it can be used by pharmaceuticals, it can be used by doctors, data scientists, as long as protocol is observed. We even went one step further, and we mimicked how doctors do differential diagnoses by creating a differential assessment system to scale our technology for just about any skin condition. But not just like psoriasis and acne, like skin injuries, wounds, pressure ulcers. I'm not showing you guys those pictures because if skin cancer is jarring, trust me, you can practically smell a wound picture. Now, what makes us particularly interesting is that we're the only third-gen dermatological AI in the world that works on any camera, that keeps a doctor in the loop, and actually has medical relevance. Now, not only that, but when our users get their AI results in real time, we give them the chance to schedule a virtual appointment consultation with a doctor. And that's what makes us special. The Responsible AI Institute, IBM Research, and Memorial Sloan Kettering in the States believe we're doing AI the right way, so much so that they're using us as their poster technology for international dermatological AI standards. And now more than 400 doctors believe in us, and they've sent us like 14,000 patients because they believe we're also doing it the right way. And if you're like us, and you also believe that we can use technology to revolutionize healthcare, then please join us. We'd love to work with you.
Right on time. Right on time.
Awesome. Amazing pitch, super interesting to hear. Would be curious, and you alluded to this, how did you guys pull together the data set that you use, and what was encompassed in doing that? Because obviously it's hard to get your hands on a lot of this data, but it's super critical to performance. Curious how you guys thought about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a number of different places. There's something called the HAM 10,000 database that has a lot of images for these kinds of things. We also have an REB with the University of Alberta where we're able to actually pull a lot of these images, both for burns and skin lesions. And we have our own data that we're actually pulling from our doctors that are part of the platforms. And not just having like curated images that are, dermatoscopes and well lit and whatever. We're really concerned about getting real world images because our users, we want them to use it on their phone, grandma, little kid, whatever, right? So we really got to adapt the AI for not just the most pristine condition with dermatoscopes. For real world is just as important for us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Actually, like such a good coincidence, we also invest in healthcare. So we do have a very strong healthcare investment team as well, like with a full of PhDs. And I think for this kind of innovation, I would question does it need to get approved by FDA to use? I assume it's diagnostic driven product, right? So I guess you need to go through the FDA process, right?
Well, we're Canadian based, so a couple of things there. Number one, we do have a Class 1 designation from Health Canada. We have a medical devices establishment license in Canada as well. We have already engaged with an agent in the States to get our FDA approvals, but preliminary works with the FDA agents suggest that we would fit as a Class 1 device because of the bad word to use, diagnostics. We are not a diagnostic tool. We are a screening tool. And incoming FDA laws on AI in healthcare in terms of accuracy, if it's going to be in the hands of a healthcare practitioner, the accuracy's got to be around 80%. If it's going to be in the hands of just a regular person, we'll say, a non-healthcare setting, it's 90%. And we are regularly going around 95, 97%.
Awesome.
But again, not diagnostics, screening.
Okay. And
Don't tell Health Canada that I said otherwise. We're not getting in trouble because of you people.
okay. Actually, I do have another question. Just want to learn about the like commercialization model for this. Like,
Yeah.
Who are you selling to, and also how do you sell to those people?
Yeah. So right now, sort of our bread and water is retail, right? People are coming on the website just using the AI for skin cancer screenings, and then we connect them to a virtual doctor, and we get a cut of that. But what's really been interesting, and by the way, it's all OHIP covered, Canadian, because we are certified in those ways. But where's the fun coming in is actually working with pharmaceutical companies, working with cosmeceuticals, working with long-term care. Because our data, our AI is not just able to, say, analyze and segment a type of lesion, it's also able to look at and measure, right? So like, what's the healing process of a wound? With pharmaceuticals, what's particularly fun is something that we're learning, and cosmeceuticals, is adherence and compliance. Now here's a story. Now a few of us have heard me say this if you've come to the booth, and the story is like, you got Billy. He's like 15 years old and he's got an acne problem. Right? The doctor tells him, well, use these drugs, use this treatment, get your Clearasil, do it for 4 to 6 weeks, come back and we'll see how it goes. Billy does it for a week, he looks in the mirror and he's like, I'm not seeing anything, screw this, I'm gonna stop. It doesn't work. With our technology, we're able to tell Billy, by the way, in the last week, your acne coverage went down by 5%. The redness intensity went down by 15%. It's not something that Billy might be able to see with his own eyes, but because he can see that progress as an objective data set, he's probably more inclined to continue with the treatment, right? So we're not necessarily helping pharmaceuticals and cosmeceuticals get more patients, but patients adhering and complying to the treatment they're given by their doctors. And obviously that increases sales, so we're trying to find ways to work with them on that side.
Thanks.
Okay, I got 15 seconds. I'm curious. We got some time. Yeah, I mean, I love how you explained, the different levels and expectations of reliability based on a patient or a doctor. I'm curious, how have you built that in the product design? Are there sort of confidence scores? Do you provide explanations when people are sort of self-screening? Just from a design perspective, would be really curious how it's built into the product.
You know what's the analogy we use oftentimes? Now, I know there's some young people here, but there's also some older people, and the older folks will understand where I'm going with this. Remember when internet banking was first introduced? And people were like, there's no way I'm putting my credit card information or my banking information online. We're finding that we need to educate our audience, old and young. The same kind of things like, no, your data's secure, don't worry about it. These are the protocols. So there's a large education component. And again, going back to Health Canada, we have to be very careful with our claims. We have to be very direct, very explicit, how we collect data. We actually have 3 levels of consent. That's part of the registration process, but we have to be very attentive to design because it is such a new thing to do.
Cool.
I think we're good for time. Thank you so much, Richard.
Absolutely.